and welcome to the Fireside Chat at the 2020 Africa Tech Festival edition. I'm happy to be here. My name is Mariam Tendou Kamara, and I'm the founder of Baantou and MadameDigital, which is based in Senegal, in Dakar. We work with, of course, financial and digital inclusion of women and girls. And I'm happy to have two guests today, and they will introduce, each will introduce themselves briefly. And we have, first, we have Sahar Antar. She's the commercial director for MondiaPay. And we also have Claudine Gakundi. She's the country manager for Lipa. I hope I did not say it wrong, but she will correct me if I'm wrong. Dear Sahar, can you please tell us a little bit briefly about you?
Sure. So, hi guys, my name is Sahar. I am the commercial director for Middle East and Africa, a region in MondiaPay. I've been in this business for almost 13 years. I worked in operators in big media companies in the Middle East, and now I joined MondiaPay for 5 years now. And we expanded heavily. We started in the Middle East and expanded heavily until we reached almost the whole world currently.
Welcome. Thank you, Sahar. And Claudine, welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. My name is Claudine Gakundi. I'm the country manager at Lipa. So Mariam got that right. I've been at Lipa since inception. That was around 5 years ago. I started off as the head of business development, which was majorly making sure that we bring in valuable partnerships and also getting a team to manage those partnerships. And also I played a role in expanding to the current countries that we have. That's now across Kenya and Rwanda, and we're soon to go into Uganda and Nigeria. As well as developing the product Lipa that people know of in Kenya. Yeah.
Welcome to both of you. The theme of today's session is going to be around Beyond M-Pesa payments as the new frictionless mobile infrastructure. That's a quite interesting theme to talk about Beyond M-Pesa. I guess my first question is going to be to give us your insights about how about creating new payment gateways and reward programs in your respective regions. I mean, if there's anything you want to share about that, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I can start. For us, Lipa is what we live and breathe, and I can just give a brief description of what Lipa is. So we are a payment option that allows merchants to sell their products in monthly installments, as well as customers to buy these merchants' products in monthly installments, right? So we are essentially a payment gateway and or a payment option. And we've seen a lot of impact because we were the first of its kind in Kenya. So we went through a very huge learning curve, and we're happy to be here where we are until going to Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda. But it was a very huge need for people to have product financing and being able to get their necessities, because these days they're considered as necessities like phones, beds, TVs, entertainment, to get them in, and be able to pay for them in monthly installments. So it's been a great journey for us to see like we're the first people to actually sell that specific market, product financing, all the way to here with our latest product being motor vehicle financing. So it's been a journey for us, which we are happy. I mean, we've had our ups and downs, but us being able to serve, especially underserved people who can be unbanked people, has been a great opportunity that we do not take for granted, and we hope to take it further. Yeah.
So how about you, Sahar? Thank you so much, Claudine.
Thank you. Okay, so MondiaPay in general.
You want me to repeat the question?
No, thank you. Okay, so the DCB, which is our core business, is mainly to pay through your bill or through your e-wallet. So it's a digital way of payment for any digital service through the operator facilitate. So operators are facilitating these payments, either is it through e-wallets or the airtime credit. To give you a very easy, let's say, explanation for it is example of Google or Apple or Huawei App Store or any of the big app stores. Currently, if you want to purchase any app inside the App Store, you don't have to enter any credit cards. You just add your mobile number, receive a PIN code, enter the PIN code, and you subscribe. So it's a very seamless subscription. You don't need any cards, you don't need any legal papers, you don't need anything. The whole idea of the DCB business is to make it easy for the customer to transfer the whole concept of the payments into a cashless society, as what we are. The whole world is actually the direction of the whole world currently. Especially because of the COVID and the situation happened because of the COVID. Currently, especially in South Africa, the cashless society increased from 68% to 75% just for this specific period, and it's increasing heavily since then. So all the customers and all the users are directing their focus to the cashless concept, so they can always get groceries and everything through their cards instead of actually interacting with people because of what happened with the COVID and so forth. In addition to that, of course, the DCB business itself is actually for all the digital products, not physical products like Claudine is offering. So what we offer is mainly for all the digital products, including entertainment products, ticketing, parking, insurance, etc. So everything that you can use through your mobile without any physical product itself, then you can use this payment option for. And in addition to that, which is the most important part, you always use the brand. You have a lot of big brands behind you, which is either the operator name or the bank name. So you're always, that's the trust. This is how you build the trust with the customers to actually go and start using this kind of product. That's it.
Excellent. It seems to us from us who are in a different region that you have already worked on training or informing or educating your customers in terms of the usage and the range of choices. I'd like to go a little bit into that and couple it with the question as to how, as a fintech, do you go about harnessing your reputation, especially in the light of innovation and the COVID?
Of course. So from our business, which is the digital business, currently you have a lot of best practices that you use to make sure that you start supporting the reputation of the fintech and making people trust you, because more or less the most important issue is the risk. Everyone is always scared to try new things, and this is definitely a new thing for people, because for now, even especially in Africa, the concept of credit cards and banks are not yet trusted. So imagine coming and telling them there's no need for cash, not only no cash, but also no cards. So that's like you're trying to give them an option that they don't even understand. That's why I'm telling you, the trust of the big brands, especially the operators and banks, that supports us big time. From best practices in other regions that are evolving in this part, which is the cashless society, especially in UAE, for example. In this market, they've been going on it for a very long time. So we started doing that here with insurance companies, with transportation, with digital products, etc. We have a lot of trusted partners that we are now actually working together hand in hand in Africa with, like Huawei App Store, La Liga, Jumia, for example. Jumia is one of the biggest e-commerce in the whole region, and we launched with them a big platform to introduce the concept of content and digitalizing the concept of you can purchase whatever you want and enjoy the product that you're purchasing through a seamless payment. So this is how we're making sure that we start reducing the risk and using our best practice to gain the trust of the customers and use our reach more or less, which helps the customers feel at ease. And of course, the users, once you start telling them that don't worry, there's no risk, there's no fraud, which is one of the major issues that we face in all the businesses, which is the fraud itself. So when we start easing this, everything goes smoothly, more or less.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. Claudine, how about yourself? Kenya. How do you go about this specific aspect?
As I mentioned, being the first of its kind, it was very big. It was hard for us to break through, right? So one of our biggest strategies was we partnered with the biggest brands that we have here in Kenya. That's Huawei, Tecno, Oppo, Samsung, because they were already known and they'd already penetrated. It was easier for us to join forces and partner with them and reach out to customers and Kenyans through them and just tell them, you know what, you can get this Samsung that you've always wanted and pay in monthly installments, very easy. As well as if you need to upgrade, I mean, to from a feature phone to a mobile phone, we've partnered with these guys. So it was relatively easier for us to do this, to do that through now our partnerships, which we thank them for because they were very supportive and they saw that there was a very huge need for financing. So it also made it easier for us to penetrate the other markets that I've mentioned, like Rwanda and now most recently Uganda and soon Nigeria, in the sense that the brands, it's one company, right? So it's just as easy for them, as easy as telling now the people in Rwanda, hey, we work with Lipa at Kenya, and this is the impact that we've had on both merchants and customers. Please do the same with these guys. And getting, what do I say? Getting backing from now the Kenyan entity, now the Kenyan brands to now these other ones, it was relatively easier for us to penetrate these other markets, right? Another thing in terms of innovation that we recently came up with is our marketplace. So it's shop.lipalater.com, which allows our merchants, first of all, to sell their products online, because one of the biggest challenge that we experienced, especially when we're going on ground and onboarding these merchants, is majority of them are not online. If you're not big, you're not online, you don't have the capacity, you don't have the infrastructure to create a website or an e-commerce site. So what we did is we gathered all of them, put them on shop.lipalater.com. So this is another source of revenue they can get, getting access to more customers that they've never been able to access, as well as our customers being able to go to the marketplace without physically having to go to the store and pick up the item. They just get it delivered, especially with this COVID situation. We thought it would be a very imperative thing for us to launch an online shop that our customers can buy from. Yeah.
So would you say, same with what Sahar said, that in your part of the region with your customers, I mean, training the customers to, to be able to use innovation, but at the same time, I mean, there's so many risks around, moving people from their traditional way of buying and shopping to the digital, payment systems?
Yeah, so as I'd mentioned, us, number one, partnering with the brands made it easier for them to understand, because it's a brand that they already know, right?
Okay.
So if we come through Samsung, if we come through Huawei, then like, okay, fine. Then this is now if it's something these brands recommend, it's probably something good because they're trusted people in the market, right? However, in terms of now moving them from a manual process and the general bank process where you have to queue, have to make a line, we made it simple for the customer in the sense that we have a web app. It's called lipalater.com. You jump on lipalater.com, make an application there, and you get an instant credit limit, right? So we made the process easier, which made them more comfortable in the sense that there was no so many processes that they had to follow. So it was just going online, making the sign up, and then getting your item, right? I hope I've answered the question, right?
Right. Well, this is quite interesting. I guess one of the last questions I'll have for both of you is how about what are the opportunities for small merchants? As you know, and within the context of COVID, and I know in many parts of the world, but that's also in Africa, it's been a heavy toll on small merchants. What do you see in your respective fields and areas of opportunities, for fintechs, especially, using innovation and within the COVID system? Is it a good sign, or is it going to go down? We've seen big brands, shut down.
So
any one of you can take it.
Yeah, on our side, we are more of a supporter on the end because when COVID came up, there was a dip in cash sales. There was a very big dip in cash sales because people didn't have readily cash available to make purchases, right? So we came in as, listen, you don't have to 100,000 immediately. Why don't you pay 5,000? Because I know you have things to worry about. You have medical to worry about. You have so many things to worry about. Instead of focusing on buying things that you can get in monthly installments, here is where we come in, right? So majority of, we actually experience a surge of now merchants accepting the payment option because before cash is better than payment installments, right? So the merchant would rather have that cash as opposed to now someone else then is taking some time and then you get the cash, right? So they started seeing that people were asking, all right, so can I pay in monthly installments? And some of them used to actually give credit, but some of their customers didn't used to pay because number one, the merchants weren't trained, they didn't build a credit scoring algorithm to actually credit score these customers. So you'd find most of them were defaulters, but we came as experienced people. We've been here for 5 years. We've built our own proprietary credit scoring. We know the Kenyan market. We know how they pay, right? So we kind of helped them and became a complementary to their business, which saw on average around 20 to 30% increase within the first 3 months of onboarding Lipa later in terms of sales. Right, so it was a big plus for them, and it's also a big plus for us as well. Yeah,
of course. How about you, Sahar?
So from our business, which is digital business, it's a bit different because as Claudine just mentioned, from her side, it's more of a physical product. So you have to go, you have to do a lot of different stuff, especially for the cash industry because of the COVID and people were a bit scared to start investing, etc. But from a digital perspective, that's a totally different story because actually the digital world increased heavily throughout the COVID pandemic. And the whole point now is the small merchants are actually part of our focus because they've always been there, especially in the digital feed. You offer the payment gateway to everyone. You don't specify it's a premium brand or a semi-premium like we call them. This for everyone because at the end of the day, if the user would like to enjoy a product here or a brand here, you have the option of enjoying whatever they want. This is one. Two, and one of the most important points is we started to, because we are actually live in a lot of, we have more than 50 countries. We're live in more than 50 countries. And because of the best practices, like I mentioned earlier, and because of dealing with everything from big and small, we started to make sure that every single thing in this business is set up properly. So from an integration perspective, we have only one single, which is one single integration to all the 50 countries. So small market, especially for small merchants, it's very hard for them to connect to each and every market separately. So what we did was you will connect to us once and you have the full region that MondiaPay is offering, or not only MondiaPay, everything that we offer, including physical, because we also work with not only with operators, but we also work with other financial institutions. So we also offer different payment options. This is one. We also offer different channels and we do marketing for them if they need the support and marketing, because this is also part of our expertise, where we help them advertise in these markets, help them use clean traffic, clean sources, so they can reach their goal without paying a lot of money. This is two. And of course, one of the major points, which is the fastest time to market. You don't need to go into a long process to launch in 6 months' time, 1 year time. You actually launch in a matter of days, not even weeks. So this also facilitates it for the customers to enjoy the markets they want, launch and see how it goes. And finally, we just launched a big project, which is called Monsouk. This project is actually offering customers a channel where they can embed their services, the small services, to do like a proper advertising for them and help them promote their services. So our business, the digital business, is actually it changes almost on daily basis. So from our side, we make sure that we can cater to the small merchants exactly the same as big merchants. We don't differentiate, because the smaller you are, and the bigger you are, the day you need the same support, you need the same focus. So we all do the same for both.
Yeah, but wouldn't you say, and sorry to continue that, wouldn't you say volume matters, whether you're small or big merchant?
Definitely, but
so
when you
does that mean that you don't?
Yes, please.
No, I just wanted to understand a little bit better for people who are listening, who are like me, very interested in knowing a little bit the back office side. We hear a lot of complaints from small merchants, facing those big names and big brands and big merchants, basically. And so I wanted to know you said something very important, which is very good for your company, but I want to go back to it. Volume, does volume matter?
Again, so if the product, if the owner of the product is differentiating their product in a way or another, then definitely there won't be any. The competition is always there. So Netflix is competing with Showmax in South Africa. They're always there. I know. So there's always competition, but the smarter you are, the more you can compete. At the same time, the same customer can subscribe to multiple services. That's the beauty of digital. You don't have to have one, like Claudine from her side. You need to get one item, which is, let's say, one mobile. You're not going to buy 50 mobiles, but in the digital world, you can subscribe to 50 services with the same exact verticals. The beauty of it is how you promote the product, and how you need to even express on what is enriching your product. Why should I subscribe to your product? Is it because you have an exclusive product that is nowhere else, or are you offering me something that of my interest, which is part of our advertising, not only Mondia's advertising, towards advertising, the targeted campaigns. You need to target the correct customers. If I know that you're into fashion, I will target you with 3-4 apps that are of your interest. So I'm not going to offer you 50 apps. No, I'll target you with 4 or 5 that I know that you will buy from. That's the part where you will make sure that the small brands, with the investor help, of course, and everything, and our help as well, we can expand, and we will not only offer the product as a standard product, but we also brand it. We can make a lot of partnerships with the product, where we take a local product and brand it with Vodacom, for example, or MTN or X or Y. So in that case, you have the support of a big brand, and you can expand heavily in a lot of different markets.
Very nice. Thank you for the clarifications. I guess I'm going to put the same question at you, Claudine. And also adding, do you have a multi-country approach, or is your market is specifically in one country, such as Kenya?
No. So just a point of correction. Our process, our whole sign-up process is digital. As Sahar, I don't think you got that well. So for everyone, they can go to lipalater.com, sign up from there, and then get the item delivered. Right? So the only physical process is for them to actually receive the item from wherever they are. So they do not have to come to a store or an office to make an application or sign up. They will just go lipalater.com, make a sign up, and then get a credit limit. Right? So because of this tech that we've enabled, and we usually like to aim to do the same across now the countries, so it's easy for us to scale. So we say whatever strategies we have in place in terms of tech being online, we want to move that to the next country. So it's easy for customers, again, because everything is going digital. I think Sahar would agree. It would be easy for someone to just log in online, sign up, and get their items or their products, right? So that's the same strategy that we're using across now the countries, which makes it easier for us, right? So the only physical or a step would be for us to partner now with the merchants that we have, which we have a team for that. Ideally now, that everything is online and digital, because now the customer can go to the store, still sign up online, or they can go to our marketplace, or they can go to our web app, right, and make the sign up, and then the item gets delivered to them, right? So by the virtue of us having our whole sign up process online, it's made us easier it's relatively easier for us to scale to other countries, because we do not need a lot of physical infrastructure for us to operate, right? And you'd find in most countries, especially when we are entering into the countries, we partner very deeply with these merchants to offer now at their stores, so we don't have to have a physical office or really like a whole infrastructure set in place. We can just operate online.
Well, thank you so much, Claudine. I do want to ask a little bit of the same line of question I asked Sahar.
Yeah.
You know, again, well, she mentioned the big brand name, but I could mention it seems to me that you have a mixed business model, but let's say you have to face these bigger operators that are operating worldwide. As a small merchant compared to them, would you say that this is an area where you're working to face competition, because the big brand or the big businesses are taking away, like Netflix, like Amazon, like some of the big, they're coming into the region and into the African market because everyone wants to they have the logistics to be able to respond to the needs. How do you face that? And the money.
Yeah, so we did see competition coming in from the very first, maybe from the very first year we started. We saw now other people now start thinking about it that way, but we looked at it and decided, like, what are the most valuable things that we need to treasure and we need to hold close by. And we realized it was, number one, our customers, number two, our merchant relationships, right? So relationships are really, really underrated in terms of, in the business world, in terms of having a good relationship and a valuable relationship even to small merchants as well as the big brands, right? Because sometimes people tend to underplay the small merchants, but do not understand small merchants actually play a very big role, same as the way the big merchants do in their own way, right? So one of the things we did is we got account managers, we call them account managers here at Lipa, and their sole purpose is to make sure our merchants are happy, our customers are happy, right? And if our merchants are happy, our customers are happy, even in a relationship, there's no way you're going to go anywhere if you're happy, right? There's no excuse to go anywhere.
Absolutely.
So our whole process is built around relationship maintenance and making sure that we grow together, like what I've mentioned with this marketplace. Now we've opened another source of revenue for the small, especially small merchants who didn't have online marketplaces. Now they can be able to see that it's still COVID. However, Lipa is also helping you add more sources of revenue at almost free, right? Because we are building the infrastructure ourselves, we are maintaining it ourselves. For you, it's just to make sure that the product goes to the customer. Yeah, so for me, I base it around relationships, and also going fast to market is a very strong thing that people underrate again. The faster you get there, the faster you learn, the faster you fail, and the faster you switch and improve, right? So by us being the first ones in the market, we learned a lot of things, and we had a head start, right? And we knew, so even with our credit scoring that we do right now, we are able to approve the best people, the best of the best, right, for an active credit limit. And this is proprietary that we built as a result of many applications, many signups gone wrong, etc. So it's just a relationship management, being the first to market, and experience, like learning from the experience. Yeah.
This is very interesting. Thank you for sharing this, the ingenious business model, which is around making sure the customer is happy. Very nice.
Yeah.
One of the questions I have for Sahar, same question too. Do you cover one specific country, or do you have a multi-country approach?
Actually, we're live in 50 countries and we're expanding. So we are live in every single country of them, including all the operators there. The whole objective of us and the expansion that we have is as Claudine just mentioned, is the user satisfaction and the merchant satisfaction. So the more the customers can trust you, and the more the operators can trust you, the more you can expand heavily in the region, especially since we always tend to go to groups, so we all connect. Everything is connected in this world, so everyone is connected to the others. So once you're connected in Egypt, then all of a sudden you're connected in the whole Middle East, including Africa, including X and Y. So we have a lot of different businesses, not only the MondiaPay part, which is the payment business. The bread and butter in Mondia is we manage the whole branded portals of the operators. So the operators give us trust that we even manage their own brand and their own digital ecosystem included inside the operator. They give us all the control from our side, and we manage it from A to Z for them. So this shows you how close we are with the operators and our relationship. Same goes to our premium partners like Jumia, Huawei, La Liga, etc. These brands made us or gave us the trust to build also portals for them, to build the ecosystem, the whole ecosystem for them, especially in Africa. So the more the partners trust you, and especially, of course, like Claudine said, which I need also to stress on, which is the small partners, they're very important for us, because at the end of the day, the volumes of the big partners are very important, but also the small partners, especially in the digital world, believe me, their volumes maybe even can exceed the big players. So the more you have the trust, the more you focus on your user, and you focus that to eliminate all the risks that you may face, which, as I mentioned at the beginning, the fraud, the bad debt, all the localization of the content, the existence in each and every market. The more you do that, and we make sure that we always we are present in the markets that need us. So, for example, we opened offices in Kenya, we opened offices in Nigeria, to South Africa, etc. Why? Because we know that we need to be present there to acquire the needed license, to speak the local language of every single user, to know how to interact with people. So yeah, definitely, the more we're actually expanding heavily. Only the past 4 years now, we're in 50 countries, and we're expanding on average 10 countries a year, if not more.
Well, I can say that you both are the right people today on the chat, because as soon as I hang up, I'm going to go and make sure that I get all my digital stuff all set, because you guys are very good. But I still, so let me ask you some questions. In my part of the world, and I'm in West Africa, even though you mentioned Nigeria, I'm in a different part of West Africa. There are different issues, and I do want to push a little bit the question, because yes, there's huge expansion. Yes, Kenya and Nigeria and South Africa, some of the countries are looked upon from our angle as at a different level. When you're expanding and you want to make sure that this becomes the new wave, especially post-COVID area, you know, I keep insisting again, how do we move from the customer that doesn't understand all the securities and all the, the firewalls, or however you call it, the gateways that you put to make sure that the customer is satisfied. We are not there yet. We're still in largely informal systems in our systems here, even though there's a push forward. Maybe if you can share some thoughts, maybe some best practices from your region, how you were able to get a good chunk of a community or a population, that were, like in marketplaces where they're used to trade, they're used to cash. How do you get people to move in the direction, in this new way, this, fintech world?
Okay.
I mean,
yes, please.
Yeah. On our end, our aim, even when we started Lipa was to make payments easy and affordable, right? So to emphasize on the easy part. So one of the things we did, because also in Kenya, we did experience the same thing, right? In terms of people were used to going to banks and then filling in 7-page forms, and then now queuing in line, and then now going and then getting an approval, and then writing checks, etc., right? So what we did, as I mentioned, I can't emphasize enough our merchants, right? So what happened is, because people already know the merchants, even if you are in, maybe say in a town, right? You would probably know your most popular merchant. They don't have to be a big brand, but you know your neighborhood kiosk, you know where you can get a phone, you know where you want to buy a TV, etc. So now what we would do in such instance is we'd probably buy a tablet, right, that is internet enabled, because some of them don't have access to smartphones, right? So we buy a tablet internet enabled, we place it there in the store. Right? We also place a sales representative from Lipa who's able to help the customer go through the journey, because we can't assume that everyone just woke up and knew how to use the internet, right? So we have people who guide them now through the process. They become comfortable. So at the end of the experience, the person who didn't even have a smartphone ends up with a smartphone, because now they've been able to make a sign up through our sales representative, through a local agent that they already know and trust, and walk away with their phone. And then the next thing is that they're able to use a device online, access the internet, etc. And then word of mouth and referrals is very strong, right? One of the things that propels and keeps our business is our retention rate, right? So that's how it started. So a customer comes in, gets a very good experience. Of course, he will go and tell someone else. Again, I'll go back to the happy relationship. If you're in a happy relationship, you're bound to say, you're bound to tell people, hey, I'm really happy, this is happening, this is happening. So another person will hear, and then they're like, oh, it's relatively easy, just go to that store, you'll be helped. Right? Another person who's internet savvy will be like, okay, how do I do it myself? You have instructions, very easy. It's easy for them to penetrate, right? So it's not something that happened in 0 to 30 seconds, right? Even till today, it's still a learning curve for us. But as our motto said, making payment easy and affordable, that is our aim. So every day we just keep on thinking, how do we make it easy? And that's why we came up with the marketplace, right? So customers don't have to call us and ask us, what do your merchants have? We just tell you, go online, see all the products that the merchants have, instead of having this back and forth, back and forth. And these days, people really don't like to interact with a lot of people, right? They just want to see, okay, I can get it here, let me do it myself. Right? So those are some of the things. I mean, I could go on and on, but I'll let Sarah talk. Right?
Okay. All right, Sahar.
Okay, so from our side, the digital part, which is especially the payments itself, you don't need to rely on smartphones. You don't need to rely on special ways to access internet. The second you have an internet, even on feature phones or old phones, you have connection to the DCB. So from a penetration perspective, you have almost even sometimes more than the population of the country, because not a customer can have multiple handsets. So you already have the reach that you need. The most important thing is to build the trust for the customer to actually use it. That's the tricky part. So how to build this trust is by using brands they know. They trust, and they know that they can trust them with their lives, more or less, because operator, they trust them. They pay them the bill every month. They go and recharge from them every month. So you always use the name of the operator. This is one. Two, you start approaching them with products that they're very eager to have. So for example, when you go to a market like Egypt, when we started that, you go to a market like Egypt, people are dying to get content like the Netflix, and the Arabic versions of Netflix, because in Egypt we have multiple VOD, especially because the Egyptian cinema is very popular in the Middle East region. So we started approaching these partners, which is OSNs and Watch It, etc. These guys, they never had this option, and they didn't even know how to approach the customers with it. So we took it, we started working on embedding the payment option for them, starting approaching the customers, not through just go access this and subscribe. No, we started working on, you know what, because you are so this is the bundling or the rewarding concept, whereas because you're a Vodafone customer or because you're or Orange customer, you're going to enjoy this product for free for X period of time, and you have the luxury to do that, because the digital world, you have the luxury to offer anything for free. So you can enjoy it with zero data, or you can enjoy it with free airtime, or you can enjoy it on board embedded or as an add-on on your bundle, etc. So you start offering them multiple offers with a trusted name for them, for the brand itself and with the operator. Once they start seeing that, they start trusting you. Egypt is one of the countries that from a credit card penetration usage for the digital world, does not exceed 5%. People always walk with cash in their pockets. They don't even understand yet the concept of cashless society. So this is how you're moving. And now, to tell you the truth, the digital world in Egypt is actually increasing heavily, especially before the pandemic and, of course, after the pandemic. So even you have from kids to adults, they all use now digital using their phones. You go and associate your name with a brand like a handset manufacturer. So the more they sell handsets, the more you can have the option. So you activate the concept itself, the payment option, as an option for everyone, which will facilitate it, and you don't need them to have anything actually other than adding their mobile number. That's it.
That's excellent. I really find it quite interesting. And maybe we only have a few minutes left, and I'll just throw last questions. Maybe that could be also your message, maybe your ending notes and message you want to share. The question will go around something that Sahar said that I wanted to come back to. You spoke about the content, localized content, like the language. I had a previous session in a different conference where we talked about, being able to go and get more traction is really for merchants and providers such as yourself to deeper into those African languages. Now, I know that this is a whole continent, and I want to be sure, I know that that's a whole, but still we think that even from a French-speaking country where I'm from, a lot of the content is in English. So is there anything you can say maybe on your side? Are you working on localizing your languages so that you get more customers, like happy customers? That's my last question for both of you. Maybe I'll give the floor to Claudine, and then Sahar will pick up.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, because especially when we went to Rwanda, we either had to find someone who speaks French or Rwandese, because one of the things is that you have to connect with your audience, right? In this case, it's our clients, right? So there's no way you can come with your new product that someone has never heard of and then just tell you, okay, take this and take it in the way I want you to take it, right? So we had to look at, number one, we're coming into your country, right, to serve your people of your country and your customers, right? There's no way we can just come as a whole Kenyan team and then just be there and infiltrate the Rwanda country, right? So what we usually do is we have to hire someone on our team who's from there, right? So because they first have to understand what we want to push to the market, because if we don't push it correctly, it will not come out well and it will not be received well, right? So in all the countries that we are going into, there has to be someone who's native from there to help us grow the country and our product in that country. So that's usually a non-negotiable on our end. So even in terms of customer service and customer care, there's someone who understands that country's language and is able to talk to the customer when they switch. Because there are others who speak English, who prefer speaking English. There are other people who prefer speaking French. So we're like, okay, fine. If that's what you want, that's what we'll do, right?
And Claudine, Claudine, I'm going to ask you to just give us one last word, because I have 1 minute left, I'm being told, so that I can give Sahar an opportunity to share.
Yeah, so on our end, what we would like to say is Lipa is a company that would like to grow with both customers and merchants. With customers in the sense that we would like you to start even from a phone to a home, right? You go all the way with us, with you, right? And for merchants, we are looking at what ways can we help you increase your revenue, right? With no risk. Right. So as we continue to grow, we are constantly looking for merchants that we can serve and help, and also customers that we can serve and help. And they can be able to get all the information that they need on our website on how they can be part of us and we can be part of them at lipalater.com.
Thank you so much. Sahar, you have the last word on this question and your last message.
Yeah.
We have less than a minute, but I'll
Right. I'll try to speak fast. Okay, so from a localization perspective, of course, we make sure that not only the content is localized, the language has to be localized. And it's actually, I know how hard it is to local, especially when we are managing the portals of the operators, we have to have all the languages, the majority, let's say, or the common languages, Swahili, French, English, Arabic sometimes even. So I know that it's not an easy process, but we always localize our content, and we always localize mainly our interface, even if the content itself has to be in different languages, but we always make sure that the interface itself, the navigation of the interface is always in French or in English or whatever the language that the country is offering us, so it can be easy for the customer to understand. This is one. Two, we also always hire account managers from each and every market to understand and speak the language of the users, understand what the users need, because at the end of the day, what users need is what we have to deliver, because it's not anyone else who will be using this product. So you need to speak to the user and you need to understand their language. I cannot go get best practices in Egypt and go do the same in Kenya, for example. I need to understand what the Kenyans need so I can offer them what they need. So this is more or less how we localize this, and how we may always tend to make sure that we get local content and local partners in addition to localizing the international content as well. From a last word perspective.
last
thing. Okay, so our aim for the payment options is we always our this year and the coming, let's say, I think until 2025, our aim is to always make sure that we have a cashless society. We always transfer all the necessities in addition to the entertainment, in addition to everything throughout the government's needs and everyone's needs is actually a cashless concept. This is already going through in Europe and it's going fast in the Middle East. This is our aim. Our aim is to digitalize Africa. This is actually our mission this year as Mondians, is to make sure that we digitalize Africa throughout all the aspects that we can. We offer our small partners, our big partners, the ability to interact and to expand heavily in Africa. And this is actually what our aim also. This is part of our mission, and we are working very closely with that, and we actually are achieving our of goals this year, especially with all the premium brands that we launched in Africa. And again, we're expanding. We want our customers to be happy. We want our customers to feel safe and to trust us. And this is actually what we're doing. We've been doing for the past 4 years, and we will continue doing it. And hopefully everyone will understand the urgency of having a cashless society and going through that.
Well, thank you very much to both of you. This was a great conversation. As I told you, you've convinced both me and both of you have. So thank you so much, Claudine Gakundi, country manager at Lipa in Kenya, I believe. And also thank you so much, Sahar, Antar. She's the commercial director for MondiaPay. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.